Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Earl Grey. I'm your host, Samantha Fremont, and we have a jam packed episode today. So, we have spoken word poet Fatma Hussein joining us on the show, and right now she is going to give us a little bit of an introduction to her work. She's going to perform her new poem, Love Meets Loving, for us here on Earl Grey. Take it away, Fatma.
I haven't written about her since our last conversation with blood, since we walked away from our light to face our shadow, since we blindfolded our mind to the world and shut inwards. We haven't felt this world since we reunited with our second. Our heart has missed our care and sensitivity to self. Our mind has been busy learning and unlearning itself, and together we're teaching her about free will. She has waited so long to be here. I don't think we've met. My name is Divergent. It's nice to finally be seen. Realizing your mind has never looked this loving. It has never looked this respected. We have found our respect for self and are passing it down to the generation of our trauma in this world. And the second we are articulating the life we know in the second home and finally living in its light, we are not ashamed of our intelligence. We are not suffocating our spirit, and we are intentionally, unconditionally zing to life, to choice. We have worked on our body in this home, long and honest. We have trusted her path for us, and she has held our hand through every hurt. We're no longer giving chances to those who do not present with empathy, love, respect, boundaries, gratitude, and many, many more extensions of a successful life. We are living a successful life. We have lived past each day, and our mind has suffered silent battles, and we have held her hand through every breakdown. We are her first love. We have fallen in love with ourselves again.
Earl Grey is produced for radio broadcast on Sin.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Earl Grey. I'm your host, Samantha Fremont. We're joined on the show by spoken word poet and mental health advocate Fatma Hussein. Welcome back.
Hi, everybody.
So, before the break, you performed a few spoken word poems for us. Can you tell us a bit more about the poems you performed and what inspired you to write them?
Well, I always start off with saying that anytime I do poetry, it just feels really therapeutic to me. And it's actually the reason why I started. But this piece is really special. It really helps me navigate my mental health a lot. It talks a lot about self-love, and it discusses how to actually reach that sense of inner peace. So I really love it.
As a poet, what helps you find that sense of inner peace? And aside from writing, what do you do to feel at peace?
I think I would say changing my environment definitely helps. I like to go to spaces where there's not too much going on. So there's, moments where I can really be with myself and listen to my thoughts and just talk to my body, I guess, and also like give it a chance to, come out of me, like if that makes sense. Like the words just kind of just spill out because it's how I'm feeling and it's like my experience and it's unjudged as well. So that always helps.
So, do you go to the park or where is your special place?
I would say cafes and libraries I really like.
Oh, yeah, they're both really great places to sit and unwind. And the one thing I love about cafes as well is that you can do like a bit of people watching as well. So, if you're short on ideas from your own life, you can also kind of think outwards a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. And it's actually funny you mentioned that because that's one of the biggest reasons why I go as well. I always think I find it really interesting just watching people live their life, if that makes sense, because I feel like sometimes we get so caught up in our own world and we kind of forget like people have things going on too, type of thing, and it's like, it makes you feel less alone and, you kind of start to feel more present as well. So it's a really nice feeling.
I've noticed the same thing, but for me, this kind of started back in 2017 when I went on my first international trip. So basically, our stopover was at the Dubai International Airport, which is one of the busiest airports in the world. And I just remember standing there in the airport, looking around at all the people going about their business, and that was like the moment where it hit me for the first time of just like how big the world actually is. So there are like so many people who have their own different lives and their own different stories. And since then, I'll be that kind of person who will just sit on the train and try to imagine someone who has a completely different life to me. So I'll look around the carriage and I'll see someone sitting by the window and I'll be thinking, what's going on for you? And why are you on this train? Where are you going and why?
No, I definitely hear you. I think even for me, I've been on trams where I'm kind of just like I have my headphones in and everyone's kind of just, just standing and like, oh, there's like some small chatter going on, but usually like it's pretty quiet. So you kind of just look around and you're looking at people and you're like, oh, I wonder where they're going, or I wonder what they do, or I wonder how their day is going.
Yeah. I was actually going to ask, just bringing it back to poetry a bit. So, what made you choose like poetry as your medium of self-expression versus like music?
Well, I think since I was young, like I would say probably like since I was 10, because that's actually when I first like wrote my first like poem, if you will, but I didn't know that's what it was called then. But I've always been someone who feels a lot, and words have always been like my little escape. So anytime like it started with journaling and then it slowly like escalated into rhyming, and then I didn't know that this was like a whole genre. For me it was just me expressing myself in the only way I knew how, type of thing.
Oh yeah, that's really cool that you found your way of expressing yourself. When did you take it from just words on the page to actually reading it aloud?
Well, actually, this was like a few years ago now, but I remember one of my friends, he was a poet and he was a well-known poet within Melbourne. And I used to go to poetry events with him and some of my other friends. And there was a time where he was like, you need to perform, you need to perform. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I can't, I was like, I can't like do this in front of people. Like, it's scary. Like, I'm going to look down or I'm going to mess up. But I think just having somebody like push me and encourage me at the same time, I think I just decided like, okay, let's just see, because I was like, I know I'm gonna be really nervous, but I just wanted to see what it would feel like. And then since then, I kind of just haven't stopped.
Yeah, it's really good that you found a way to share your work with the world.
Hmm.
And it is time for us to go to a break, but we will be back very, very soon.
Earl Grey is produced for Radio Broadcast on Sin.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Earl Grey. We are joined on the show once again by Fatma Hussein, who is a spoken word poet from Melbourne. So, welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
So, before the break, we were talking about how you got started in spoken word poetry.
Mhm.
And I wanted to ask if there were like any challenges you faced in terms of establishing yourself as a spoken word poet.
That's a really interesting question. I feel like I don't know if this answers the question exactly, but I feel like the older I got or the more I wrote, my style of writing or my style of writing my poetry changed. So I think that was probably a bit of a challenge. Like, I don't I didn't know how I felt about that at the time. But now looking back, I'm kind of like grateful for it because I realized that I wanted like it to be read a certain way, or I wanted the tone to be different type of thing, if that makes sense. Like I wanted to paint more of a like accurate picture of what I was actually saying, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was just talking with my friends about the Eras tour. And so in a way you're having, the same shift within your creative stream as Taylor Swift does with music. Like each year or each era of your career, does that have like a different vibe, building on top of the other kind
I
of,
would
but evolving into something new?
I would say yes, definitely. I feel like I'm getting to a point now where like my medium is changing, like my medium of poetry is also changing. I don't know where that's coming from. I think it's just like wanting to try other creative ways of putting my poetry out there for everybody, like as an artist and, just as someone who just loves being creative in general.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I actually took a university class about podcasting, and I was wondering if you'd ever consider like getting into the world of audio storytelling. So using all these different sound elements available to you to create a multi-layered experience.
Absolutely. And the thing is, I'm not that like savvy when it comes to technology and like putting things together like that. I really wanted to try and have like my own beats and like do like a little like home like microphone situation. I suppose like a podcast as well at home type of thing. But the like mechanics of it, I couldn't navigate. And I was just like, I'm losing my creative juices trying to put this thing together. You know what I mean? And I think also because like like I didn't actually like I didn't have like the proper like all the guidance really. And I think maybe that's also partly my fault. Like I didn't really seek it out like that. But I mean, I had some friends who were really into like the soundscape like vibes and the videography vibes of poetry and storytelling. So I think I collaborated with them, but I haven't really done anything for myself, like by myself, if that makes sense. It was a really fun experience, but I prefer to leave it to them to do it, and then I just do the spoken word part.
Yeah, it's really cool that you're collaborating with other people to explore, spoken word poetry beyond a live open mic kind of setting, which is really
Mm.
cool. I also wanted to ask about your performance for the Brimbank Libraries. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Oh, that was such an amazing, amazing experience. That was the first time I actually did anything like that. And it was so nice. It was actually from two of my friends actually who were hosting it. And they had set up the space so beautifully. And we came and we pre recorded, and it was so amazing. I actually would really love to do something like that again.
Yeah, it looks like it would have been an absolutely fantastic event to go to.
It
Um,
was so creative.
Yeah, did you meet any other spoken word poets at the event to swap numbers with?
Oh, I wish I could say yes, but I'm like a shy, awkward person. So I think I was just mesmerized at a distance. But definitely trying to overcome that. But I wish I did because there was some really amazing artists that were also part of the experience. And everyone did such an amazing job. The whole team was so great, so supportive. It was really, really good because I think even I'm not sure if they've done something like that before, but I hadn't. So it was really great to have that support and encouragement. They were really patient with us as well. So it was really nice.
Yeah, it sounds like an absolutely wonderful event. And I hope that also in the city of Moonee Valley, where both of us are from, hopefully they might also do something similar as well. You never know.
That would be great.
So it is time for another break, but don't worry, we will be back here on Earl Grey on Sin.
Earl Grey is produced for Radio Broadcast on Sin.
Hey guys, we're back on Earl Grey with Fatma Hussein, a spoken word poet from Melbourne. And Fatma is also a very active mental health advocate. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about your advocacy for mental health. So why is it important for us to really stop and listen to what our mental health is trying to tell us?
Well, I think it's important for two reasons. I think the first one is education, especially as someone who struggled so much in school growing up because I have ADHD and also I work in the education field as well. And the second one would definitely be cultural. I think it's very masked in the like culturally as well. Like it's not talked about, and it's kind of shamed, and I don't think that helps at all. If anything, it makes everything much worse for the individual and the people involved as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. What can we do if we've got a loved one who is struggling with their mental health? What can we do to help them?
I think listening is always a good idea. Listening openly, honestly, without judgment is always a good idea. And I think also just educating yourself on the loved one's mental health status. I think that's always really important, because it also helps them feel like they can open up and tell you more and also ask for help. And that's really, really important.
Yeah, and also validating their feelings as well, making them feel seen, heard, listened to, just
Absolutely.
in general, to know that they're not alone.
Absolutely. Yes, that's so important.
And you also live with ADHD. Can you tell us a bit more about ADHD and how we can help people who live with ADHD?
ADHD has been really, really challenging, interesting, exciting, and frustrating at the same time because I've lived so long with not knowing. And I've been coming across a lot of people as well, like my age, and they're finding out just now that they have ADHD. So I think, again, just being patient, educating yourself on your loved ones, like mental health. Um, yeah, just listening and educating, to be honest.
Yeah, it's always really good to become educated about different mental health conditions. And if you or anyone you know needs additional support with their mental health, please reach out to Kids Helpline. This is a free and confidential service for people 25 and under in Australia, and you can find them at kidshelpline.com.au or you can call them on 1800 55 1800. Well, Fatma, thank you so much for joining us on the show. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on here, and honestly, I hope to have you back sometime in the future.
Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to it. This has been fun.